Hi, you're watching Your Future, Your Finances. I'm your host, Brian Kuhn. Today we're talking with Mindy Felinton of the Felinton Estate Law and Elder Practice Centers. If I said that correctly, correct me.
Close enough.
Okay. Thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about your practice and your background.
Okay. Well, I have been actually practicing law for 34 years now,
34 years.
Shocking to me. And I help families who are doing two things. One is they're concerned about paying for a loved one's care when they need nursing home or assisted living. So I'm helping them to navigate that system and to protect assets so that they are not running out of money to take care of their loved one. And I'm also helping people to prepare wills and trusts, powers of attorneys, and medical directives so that they can decide who's going to be making decisions for them and not leaving it up to a court to decide those things, and to protect loved ones who may have, for example, special needs and things like that, so that if they're getting government benefits, they don't lose those. So there's a variety of issues that we're helping families to make sure that they're protecting their loved ones and protecting their hard-earned money.
Yeah, and a lot of people may combine the topics of elder law and estate planning, but they're really different. Talk a little bit about the difference between what's called elder law and estate planning.
Sure. I always say in workshops that we give, which I do frequently, that I wear two hats. You can't see them, and one is an elder law, or people frequently call it elder care hat, and the other is the estate planning hat. And the differences are the elder care, elder law is really about we are living longer. And the concern for how we're going to pay for care, because right now in the metropolitan D.C. area, the average nursing home cost is $12,000 a month. And so quickly one can go through their money.
Yeah.
So it's, again, the elder care side. How are we going to protect that money so that that money is there to pay for things that Medicaid, which is a government program that will pay for the nursing home, doesn't pay for everything. And so there's going to be some way to protect some money to pay for those things that Medicaid won't pay for, and also have something maybe at the end of the day to leave for loved ones. The estate planning hat is more about how are we going to leave money, to whom we're leaving it, how we're leaving it. Are we leaving it so they get what I call the pillowcase full of money over the wall? And, ooh, we can spend it all at one fell swoop. Or, ooh, my son may have a wife who ultimately they're going to get divorced. And guess what? That pillowcase, part of it could go to her. Or are we going to put it in a protected box and then put it over the wall so it's protected from that daughter-in-law?
Yeah.
So it's making sure that we look at all of the different things that we want to protect when the person passes away. And also making sure that they have designated who they want to make medical decisions for them if they're not able to. Because, again, if they don't do that, the courts will decide. And as far as handling their finances, someone's finances, making that decision for themselves, because people become incapacitated, and if they don't have a plan in place and they don't have that written down and it's legal, then someone has to go file a court proceeding to have a court appoint what we call a guardian to then handle your finances. And that may not be anybody who, A, you know, or B, that you would have chosen for yourself. So it's making sure on the estate planning side that you've covered those bases and you've made your decisions, not the courts.
When I'm referring someone to someone like yourself for services, when you say elder law, I always preface to my clients that I'm not calling you elderly, just simply that you are planning out the rest of your life, so to speak. You mentioned Medicaid, which is the program that comes up a lot, I would imagine, in your world. What's the status of Medicaid in America and how it's changing?
Well, it's changed, I would say, in regard to what people commonly know as a look-back period. That's a common term we hear coming into the office with families who are helping. And That was a major change that came about in 2006, which used to be what was known as a 3-year look back, and it's now a 5-year look back. And so Medicaid is a federal program that will pay for nursing home care, and each state administers it differently. So I'll kind of talk about Maryland, what that looks like with regard to Maryland. So now there is a 5-year look back. So Medicaid has 3 requirements. The first requirement is that someone has to be living in a nursing home and need to be living there medically. The second requirement is that the person in the nursing home's monthly income is less than the cost of the nursing home. So, for example, someone's getting Social Security, $700 a month. Maybe they have a pension. They're lucky to have a pension, and they're getting $1,200 a month. So they're at $1,900 a month, and the average nursing home is $12,000 a month in this area, as I said. So they would qualify income-wise. The third requirement is an asset limitation, which is a key ingredient, and that's where we're really helping our families. And right now, there is a limit, and there has been a limit, which does change on occasion as to how much someone can have in assets. So a single person can have $2,500. That's in Maryland, that includes any IRA money, any retirement accounts. In some jurisdictions, it doesn't count the retirement funds, but in Maryland it does. So it's checking, savings, cash, retirement funds. That's all part of determining that $2,500 amount. If it's a married couple, and let's say the husband, we have to put somebody in the nursing home for the example, is living in a nursing home, then there's a range of how much the wife who's living at home gets to keep. And then Medicaid has a calculation for how they determine how much the wife is allowed to keep. But it's not more than $119,000 to $20,000. And that number does go up pretty much each year. Not a lot, but it goes up. So that's a change. The other thing that's the big change from the 2006 is this look back that I was referring to. So what Medicaid says is if you want us to pay your nursing home bill, then you can only have what we've said you're allowed to have in assets, and we want to see what you've done with your money in the last 5 years. So they audit the last 5 years of your finances to see if you've given away the money. And they presume if you gave away money in the last 5 years, you've done that to become poor to be eligible for Medicaid.
All of that is in a nursing home. When we come back, we're going to take a break here and talk a little bit about some proactive steps you can take, as well as the different environments in which people receive care. We'll be right back. You're watching Your Future, Your Finances with Mindy Felinton and your host, Brian Kuhn. Thanks.